So let's start with the second topic. Let's start with the second topic. The chapter number 3, metals and non-metals. Metals and non-metals. Chapter number 3, metals and non-metals. Distinction between metals and non-metals. So my dear student, let us start the topic. Let us begin with the topic. Chapter number 3, metal and non-metal. Chemistry class 10th aspirants. So my dear student, distinction between metals and non-metals based on chemical properties, based upon the chemical properties. So my dear student, metals and non-metals. Metals form positive ions. Metal forms positive ion. That is the example: sodium, potassium, calcium, magnesium, iron, etc. Non-metals forms negative ion. They form positive ion. Non-metal form positive ion. Point number 1. Non-metal forms negative ion. Point number 1. That is chlorine, sulfur, nitrogen, etc. Oxides of point number 2. Point number 2. Oxides of metals are basic in nature. That is, the oxide of metals react with water to give base or alkalis. That is the base or alkalis. That is the Na2O, H2O. That is the sodium hydroxide. Calcium oxide, water. That is the calcium hydroxide. And the second point of nonmetal, chlorides of nonmetals are acidic in nature. That is, oxides of nonmetal react with water to give acid. Carbon dioxide, water. Carbonic acid, H2CO3. SO2 plus H2O, that is sulfuric acid, H2SO3. SO3 plus H2O, that is sulfuric acid, H2SO4. The third point, metal dissolve in dilute acid to produce hydrogen gas. That is the zinc granulus plus hydrogen sulfate, ZnSO4 plus H2 gas. Next is the non-metal. Non-metals generally do not dissolve in dilute acids. Point exception, some metals do not produce hydrogen when treated with an acid under an ordinary circumstances or ordinary temperature. Non-metals combine with hydrogen to form stable compound. So my dear student, point number 4, that is non-metals combine with hydrogen to form stable compound. But point number 4, metals in general do not combine with hydrogen, except some metals like sodium, calcium, lithium, beryllium, etc. combine with hydrogen to form non-volatile unstable hydrides. Point number 5, metallic chlorides are generally not hydrolyzed by water. That is not going to be the hydrolysis, but exception, some partially hydrolyze. That is the NaCl plus H2O, that is NO, no hydrolysis. No hydrolysis will done there, NaCl and H2O, there is no hydrolysis. But exception, aluminum chloride react with water to give aluminum hydroxide and HCl. And the point number 5, chlorides of nonmetals are basically or usually hydrolyzed by water, that is PCl3 plus H2O, phosphorus chloride plus water, that is the hydrochloric acid and H3PO4, and SiCl4 silicon chloride plus water, that is the silicon hydroxide plus HCl. So this is all about the today's chapter, the distinction between the metals and non-metal. In what video I upload the distinction between the physical properties of metals and non-metal, and the second one is the distinction based on the chemical properties of metal and non-metal. So this is all about the chapter number 3, metals and non-metal. 70% syllabus is going to be completed of metal and non-metal. Few topics, 80% approx is going to be completed. So my dear student, continuously watch my videos and subscribe my channel, give more views and likes to, and share to those students who are very needful or who are the aspirants of CBSE Board 2024. I am going to give you the crash course in November 2025. That is a crash course paid up classes of 1000 rupees only, discount of 1000 for those students who come first, take first. And after that, this crash course will provide you the 400 questions are based upon the chemistry, chapter number 1, chapter number 2, chapter number 3 and chapter number 4. Chapter number 1, chemical reaction and equation. Chapter number 2, that is acid, bases and salt. Chapter number 3, metals and non-metal. And chapter number 4, carbon and its compound. So my dear friend, wish you happy Diwali. In Diwali, I also give you some important tips and some videos also. So my dear student, let's continue watch the video, and thank you for watching my video. This is Suraj Anand, chemistry teacher.